What's up, boys?
What's going on, buddy?
What y'all doing, man?
We are sitting at our houses in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, getting ready to talk to you.
Dude, are y'all hockey fans?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I got to present at the NHL Awards Monday this week, and I got to give Matty Beniers his Calder Memorial Trophy.
That's
Which is
awesome.
awesome. Yeah. I hung out with Connor McDavid and Stammers and all the homies. It was awesome, dude.
That's wicked. Yeah, we had Michael Backlund from the Calgary Flames win an award. He was the only one from the Flames this year that won something there, but that was sweet.
Really? Yeah, so y'all are Calgary fans?
Well, that's where we're from. I'm originally from Toronto, so I cheer for the Maple Leafs and the Calgary Flames, but yeah.
You know, I thought Matty Beniers was going to win the Calder Memorial, but I thought if somebody else had a chance, which I didn't think it was going to be close, frankly, but I thought if it was going to be Stuart Skinner from Edmonton.
Nice. You're a big hockey guy.
Yeah. We definitely watch. I'm a big Predators fan, so ever since we got the Predators in Nashville, I keep up with enough hockey to know what they're doing.
Oh, hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
So I keep up with the league through that. My wife's a big Golden Knights fan because she grew up in Vegas, so big year for her, obviously.
Yeah, we actually have both the goaltenders from Vegas, Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson, are actually both from Calgary.
Really?
Yeah, both the and they grew up on the same street at the same time, which is like, it went to the same school. It's actually a wild story.
I didn't watch the draft last night. Did that kid end up going, or did the draft tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
Okay, good. That kid's going to go first, though, right? Though Bernard.
Bedard, oh yeah.
Yeah, Bedard.
He'll
Yeah,
go to
he's going,
Chicago.
yeah. I hung out with him. He's a little fella.
I think he's like 17 or something like that.
He's a kid.
Awesome. Are you ready to roll, buddy? We'll officially start here. Awesome.
For what it's worth, I thought we were rolling.
Well, hey, we can still keep some of that hockey stuff. Our fans will love that. Hey, it's Jesse and JD with iHeartRadio Canada. We are here with Jelly Roll. He's got a brand new album, Whitsitt Chapel, which is out right now. Jelly, you've been in the rap scene, you've been in the country scene. For some of our rock fans, man, because this is going to be spread out across our rock networks here, who don't quite know who you are and what you're all about. Who is Jelly Roll, man, and what is your music all about?
Dude, man, my name is Jason Jelly Roll D. Ford. If this is your first time ever hearing anything about me on earth, I am a man who used music as an avenue to change his life because music changed my life early, listening to music. So I wanted to repay the same favor. And I just make real music for real people with real problems. That's the easiest way to put it. I keep having to fight these these genre boxes, but that's not my thing. You know, my thing is I just write real songs, and whoever produces the record either distorts the guitar or don't. You know what I mean? That's not I'm out of that. I don't know enough about music to argue about that. You know what I mean? But what I do know is my spirit is rock and roll. I'm a country boy by just being from Tennessee. You probably hear it in the texture of my voice. And I just love making real music for real people.
You know, man, listen to your album. You seem like a guy, and you've sung about it a lot, who's been judged his entire life, for not only how you look, but who you've been and not who you are. And in your song, The Lost, you mentioned a lot that you were better with the lost than the found, meaning the people, I took it, that are struggling with their lives. And your story and your struggle relates to a lot of people. Is it one of your goals, through your music to help the lost be found? That's kind of what I took from that song.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I always just want to be a voice for those who feel like they're voiceless. I felt like the people that I represent went without representation when I was a kid because I am the people. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really represented us. So we had pieces of it, but I felt like it was so scarce. Every now and then you would have a group of guys that would break in that you were like, oh, these dudes represent us. In the rock world, I think specifically about bands like Linkin Park, right? And I think about guys like Chris Cornell and these guys who were very open and honest and vulnerable and real and just had a different spin on how they presented the painfulness of life and music. I just wanted to be another glimpse of that in the timeline of history.
I thought it was really cool. There's a ton of artists, Jelly Roll, who will allude to a lot of the subject matter that you're tackling, but I feel like they don't get into the nitty and the gritty. And you're singing about it, oftentimes from a place of personal experience. What's that relationship like when you're being that authentic with your audience? Not only for your side of it, but I would imagine getting to connect with fans who are resonating with music finally made for them and about them.
Well, I think that's what's so cool about it, right? Is that you're speaking to the core of the human condition, right? And that is what got me into music. I was never a rhythm listener. I don't listen for rhythmic purposes. Y'all know y'all aren't rhythmic people. I can tell by what you do for a living, right? You know what I mean? That it's like there's certain people in the world that I call it rhythmic listening. They're listening to some snares, some hi-hats, some textures of guitar. To them, it's just an energy, it's a tempo, right? Where for me, music was life. It was a story. It was a feeling. It was an emotion. It was a way to express myself without me having to come up with the words to do it. You know what I mean? So I just take that approach into every way that I do music.
You know, personally, I've spent a good chunk of the last year re-examining some addictions and some relationships with different people and with different substances, and I find your authenticity so inspiring, to be candid. But what I wonder is, a dude like you, who inspired that authenticity? Like, who did you look at and go, "Geez, that's someone who's being very authentic about their journey. That paves the way for me, Jelly Roll."
I think it started from the art. It wasn't even people being authentic. It was the music being so I remember hearing Fire and Rain the first time. And even as like a 12, 13-year-old kid, I was like, yo, this is heavy. Right. Y'all remember that old record that where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. Right. I remember like hearing this record as a kid and like bawling crying. You know what I mean? And that's where I found it in the music. Where I found it in life was the neighborhood, right? I was saying this about my documentary the other day. I didn't realize that everybody didn't grow up around drug addicts. You know what I mean? Like everybody was a drug addict around me, and everybody was open about being a drug addict. You know what I mean? It wasn't a hidden secret. Like the whole neighborhood knew everybody was, fucked up. Excuse my language. But so you see that, and I didn't know how to. I didn't realize I was being too real. I would walk into rooms and just say what I was thinking. And everybody would look at me weird. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Doesn't everybody talk like this? But I can't be, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I come from a long lineage of people that just are like this.
Unfortunately, sometimes people, they get caught up in what you grew up around, and you broke that cycle, it seems like, and you seem like you're doing really well. And I'm listening to your song, Nail Me, and you're talking about spending time in jail. And I know you're not proud about it. You've talked openly about that many times. In fact, you hear a lot of rappers glorifying jail, and you kind of do the opposite. I wanted to know, like, as a guy who's made some mistakes and turned his life around, what's your thoughts on second chances? And, when you were sitting in that jail cell for as long as you were, what were you reflecting on, and what kind of turned it around for you?
Thank you for asking. I was thinking about one, I wasn't, it was my daughter that made me start thinking about things different. I was incarcerated when she was born. And listen, Jesse, this isn't like a soundbite. This is like real life. Like in that moment, I knew I needed to do something. Like it was one thing to just be a just scumbag of a human. And then it was another for that scumbag to then be in charge of the welfare of another human. And I was like, I got to figure this out, you know? And that was my kind of Damascus Road experience for me. That it was an instant change in my life. It was like, yo, I got to quit doing this. I got to figure this out for her. And I just used her as my pillar. She was my why. She was my reason of. She still is. She's 15 now, and but she's still my why. It's still my. No matter how many records I sell, whatever I do in life, none of that's going to matter if I don't show her how to live. Period. You know what I mean? That's the number one priority in my life is to make sure she's a little bit better than I am.
Man, it was so cool. Like we've been getting to know you, and when we heard you were coming on, we're like, oh my God, all we got is a few minutes with Jelly Roll. There's so much stuff we can get into. And we had mentioned to our listeners that you were coming on, and they went crazy, like with all the stories, and they were talking about your past and your past music and kind of giving us a whole history rundown.
Jelly Roll, further what Jesse's saying about, that relationship with the audience, you make music with a story and a message and just like a level of relatability, I think, that just isn't present in a lot of music. How therapeutic is that for your half of it, but also in getting to talk to fans and seeing what you do and what you make and how it resonates with people? How therapeutic is the whole thing, do you figure?
It's crazy. I call it therapeutic music. If you ever see a show live that we give a spill every night about the healing powers of music, and it was the only therapist I knew forever. I mean, there were so many times in my life that I didn't think I had anybody to turn to or nothing was there for me that music was. I remember FM radio being my only friend when I was in the hole in prison. You know, I'm in a one-man cell, 23 hours a day, and all I got is a Bible and a radio. That's the two things you're allowed to have in the hole. You know what I mean? So the worst moments of my life, music was there.
Jelly, what's the process been like for you, sharing your story through a documentary? Because I know that's been rolling around, and that's really cool. And a lot of time artists will get into music and they're behind a microphone and they're through an album on the radio. You know, to put your story out there visually, it's probably a little bit different and more revealing of yourself. What was that whole experience like getting that documentary together?
You know, it was cool, man. ABC News filmed this, right? So we had no skin in the game at all. You know, we didn't get to control the edit. We didn't get to read the storyline. We didn't get to see the questions before they asked them. We didn't get to approve it. I watched it on Hulu with the rest of the world. They filmed for 300 and something hours. And I sat down to watch 90 minutes of 500 hours of film footage. I don't remember all. I mean, they filmed for that long. You know, you start forgetting what you said. There could have been two. They might have a whole nother hit piece come out in 5 years. I don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? It was a lot happening. So I sat there like everybody else watching it as a fan, and it was unreal. There was moments in it that even I was uncomfortable, that I was being so honest, and I think that's what made the documentary so successful, because I'm sure if it's me talking and I'm watching myself like, ooh, man, that was kind of hard to share. I can't believe I did that on such a big platform. I'm sure people watched it and felt the same way.
Just keep doing what you're doing, man, with that authenticity. I think that's making you who you are, and that's why you're resonating from genre to genre to genre. I know you don't want to be in boxes, but real people always shine through, right?
Oh yeah, dude. That's just, my thing is that, yeah, I just want to make music that helps, dude. I know it might sound corny, but music helped me. Like really, I can name songs that were like turning points. I've named 3 or 4. I'm just here just shooting the crap with y'all in the last 12 minutes. Like I'm a jukebox of I can nerd out about general songs that have just helped me in so many ways.
Nothing corny about it, for the record. Nothing corny about it. I got one more. You were at the NHL Awards the other night presenting the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year, and I loved what you said before you did it. You know, and that was alluding to maybe feeling like a bit of a Rookie of the Year, or alluded to one, but also acknowledging there is so much hard work before anybody gets to be a Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about a guy like Matty Beniers, who won that night from the Seattle Kraken. He's 20 years old, right? And I didn't realize he wasn't 21 because I was going to send him a bottle to congratulate him. And the concierge from the NHL said, "You got to send him a dessert tray. He's not even 21 yet." I was like, wow. But it was cool that our stories are now tied together forever. We already messaged each other about that, you know. I said, I don't know what the equivalent of a jersey swap would be with a music guy, but maybe I'll bring you a guitar or something whenever I come see you. But you think, this dude's played hockey since he was like old enough to stand. They put him in skates with a stick. You know what I mean? Like, of course, he's the Rookie of the Year and he's 20 years old and it seems mighty young, right? But when you think of it from the perspective of, dude, this dude doesn't know. This dude's been playing hockey he's 20 years old and he's been playing hockey for 14 of them. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a long grind for that kid to get there, man. It was really cool, man. He's also an absolute sweetheart.
Jelly, I know you're a big hockey fan. We talked about that as well, and you've talked a lot in your songs about your past, haunting sometimes the things that you want to do in your future. Do you ever see the doors opening up to come play Canada in your future?
Ooh, man, we're getting so close. The walls are closed, and I suspect we'll be there by the end of 24. That's my bet. We're really, really, really close.
Well, we'd love to hang with you, man, when you cross the border and get over here. We'd love to come see you.
I tell you what, worst case scenario, Drake knows who I am. That's the start, right? Because Drake has got every felon in history in Canada. So worst case scenario, when Drake got Gucci Mane to Canada and Gucci Mane had murder charges, I was like, I got to meet Drake. I was like,
hey, I first heard about you. The very first time I ever heard your name was through Mercules. Another
yes, that's my boy.
Canadian rapper. So, hey, just get everybody on the train to bring Jelly Roll to Canada.
I know it's the other side of Canada from where he's from, but I said, Merc, the closest show I have to a Canadian border is in Buffalo. Will you come do it with me? He was like, yeah, for sure. So Mercules is opening up my Buffalo show.
Awesome.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Jelly Roll, Jesse was exactly right earlier when he said this wasn't going to be nearly enough time. Thank you for your time. It was a true pleasure and an honor, and we love Whitsitt Chapel, and man, this was a pleasure. Truly.
Oh, dude, thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. Thanks for taking the time to let me share my story, and I hope to see y'all boys when I get up there. Worst case scenario, find one over here and come holler at me until next year.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, dude.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.